right?
That is true.
Now, I know that the national average and where money is, and there's like 4% that own like 90% of all things.
Sure.
But for the rest of us and what we see, that's not that far from reality.
No, indeed. And so I say that because it's the statements of the principles. And one is, I guess what I'm trying to get across there is recognize where you are.
Right.
And to some extent, be honest about whether do you really want what it takes to get to that $10,000, $20,000 a month, because there is a trade-off.
Right.
A significant trade-off. There's a reality to people who work at that kind of level. And we watch on TV the people who are experiencing, the lifestyles of the rich and famous. I guess that's an old show now, but Kardashians and all these reality shows of people who are, very wealthy, ridiculously wealthy, and they seem to spend their whole day gossiping about people and getting manicures and pedicures. That's not what people who make those levels of dollars are doing every day.
Right.
They're sustaining economic empires really to sustain that level of income.
Right.
And so when you're making $50,000 a year, stop even looking at those people. Just stop.
Right.
Stop thinking you're them. You're not them. And that's hard for people. I don't know why that's so difficult, but that's one of the first
part of it, I think, is where we've trained. We've been trained by TV. And so when we've been trained by TV, we think that's the standard. And the reality is that that's the exception.
Yes. Very much
for
so.
people to be on TV is an exception.
Yes.
So kind of with that, once we get past that, going back to that equation, money is not math. Money is
human behavior.
What does that mean, really? Because that's a core, that's what I call one of your 9-pound pearls.
Yes. So when it's one of the, again, besides some of the first questions when people hear I'm in financial services, what size a client, and they're trying to get a sense of the economic
threshold. Do they fit or not?
The second question they ask oftentimes is, well, what's your stock tip? What's your greatest tip? What's that investment strategy that's going to be the be-all, end-all? And that's another part I have to tell them is there's no one product solution. There's not one investment solution. One thing's not going to save you and make you the mega millionaire.
Well, it's like there's no get thin pill that does the overnight.
Exactly.
There is no one club that gets you for golfers that, we've talked about that before.
So the whole money's not math. There's not one thing. If money were math, and this is the second part of it, if money were math, we'd all be mega millionaires, would we not? Because there'd be an equation, we'd plug in the numbers, and we'd do the multiplications, and we'd factor all the variables, and it'd equal out to sort of millions of numbers, and we'd be able to backtrack. We'd be able to pick a number, and then move back, and then behave appropriately. But think about that. Even if there were a number out there, because there was a commercial for a while going around with people with a number floating around their head, or they carried a number. First of all, how do you know what your number is?
Right.
That's another thing I think people, my number is bigger than I can imagine. Because I don't know what the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years is going to look like. And I do have that time in front of me.
Right.
I don't know what the number is. I want to get the maximum potential with what I'm capable of. And all I'm capable of is today. So
that's an important point, though, isn't it?
Yes.
All you've got is today.
Yes.
So stop looking at tomorrow and say, okay, what can I do today that will help tomorrow?
That's it.